My name remains Joshua Bamidele. I am making this video on production management. Thank you so much for viewing the videos. I've been hearing feedbacks. Thank you. And this one is going to be on production management. And I talked about production management in the first video. I talked about how essential production management is. I talked about how essential a production team is. And for every production that will be successful, it is essential for you as the producer to have a very effective production management. In very large production, there are still some other technicalities to it. We also have we have an executive producer, we have the producer, we have the line producer, then we have the production manager. And all these terminologies are very essential. They are very essential. The executive producer is a person that makes the funding available. The executive producer is like the grand master, like the grand person that makes the funding available. It works well with the producer. The producer as well as the executive producer works together to see that the budget of the production is properly handled. The producer looks at the production that he has ahead of him after receiving the script and see to it that he makes necessary budget for it and makes funding available. So the line producer is often also called the film producer. So as I said earlier, in big high budget movie, all those crews are independent. They are independent. They are not merged. We have line producers. They call it film producer too. That one, it deals with so many other things. They also works primarily with the producer to see to the budget, see to the major budget, see to the shooting schedule, it sees to the location and all. So and production management, there's also production manager that also works with the line producer as well as working with the art director to see that some of these productions shooting schedule and all are made. But for low budget movie, the line producer is often combined with the production manager. The line producer is often combined together with the production manager. All right, let me just explain in general terms what a production manager. Now, I'm trying to infuse the two together now so that I will mention some of their some of their characteristics and some of what they do. But before I go into those terminologies and before I go into the in-depth of production manager, there's a friend of mine too who he has been a very effective person in the production team. He's a very effective person in production team. He has also been an assistant director in several of these gospel production, and he's a very strong and versatile person. So he's going to talk about briefly what production management is, and from there I'm going to come back and to continue the discourse. All right, over to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Abiodun Oluwanifemi Ogundipe. Today we'll be talking on some basic things about film production management. What is film production management? Film production management consists of managing the work, the tasks, the logistic, and the process. Now we have some process in which a film production can be successful. Some basic things. Number one, the initial stage. Number two, we have the planning stage. Number three, we have the executing stage. Number four, we have the monitoring and control stage. And lastly, we have the closing stage. So quickly, let's talk briefly on this subtopic. The initial stage of film production is where the idea is being developed. Initial stage, that is where we develop an idea for the production at hand. That is where we bring out the story we want to use, the budget we will need for the production, the finances, things that we will need in that production. So at the initial stage, we talk about things that we will need for the success of the production. Now, the planning stage can also be called the pre-production stage. At this stage, everything you budget at the initial stage is already on ground, like the money you needed, the cast you needed, the crew you needed. You already have them at the pre-production stage, but you are not yet ready to go and shoot. You are not ready to start production, but you already have them on the ground. So at the pre-production stage, what you work on is how you can get everything you need for the production. The initial stage is where you're developing the idea, the type of cast you need, the type of crew you need, the type of location you need. Then the second one is the pre-production stage, where you get those things ready for the success of the production. Now the third one is the executing stage, which can also be called the post-production stage or production stage. What do we do at this stage? At this stage, this is where you execute every of the plans you have at hand. This is when you go to the location that you have. This is when you call your directors and your cast, and you move to the location where the production will be executed. So at this stage, this is where you're carrying out every of your ideas, every of your plan that you have stated. So the fourth stage, which is the control and monitoring stage. This is where the line producer makes sure everything in the script is well followed. When the movie that is the movie you want to shoot is being processed, the line producer makes sure that everything in the script is being monitored. It controlled everything. It controlled the rush, the start, the beginning to the end. The line producer continuously makes sure that everything that has been stated in the plan goes according to how it has been written. If there is anything written in the script, it must be said according to what is said in this, according to what is written in the script. Also, if there is any challenges, the production manager makes sure that those challenges that rises either from any department is what is being attended to. Lastly, the closing stage. This closing stage can also be referred to as the evaluating stage, in which when the film has been edited, we check it through once again to see if there is any error, if there's any mistake, in which maybe a scene is not well shot or a scene is not shot at all. So in this evaluating stage, you check everything you have done in the post-production stage while you are shooting or while you are editing. Then in the evaluating stage, you check the movie starting from the first scene to the last scene to check if everything is intact. Thank you for having me. Over to Bro Joshua.
All right, so welcome back. Thank you, Mr. Ayiloja. Thank you so much for that discussion. I believe that you all understood some of those things he said. Thank you so much. All right, and production management is very important. Very important. Now, if a production is going to be successful, the production management, the production team must be very effective. In most of our production, we often believe that a production manager is just a normal casual work. I mean, in some of these production, we often believe it's a normal casual work. Production manager now is a very serious task. It's a very serious task. My first experience as a so to say production manager, I use the word so to say production manager because I was acting I was the producer of the movie. That was my very first film while I was in Lautech. That was 2014. Open Grave. I was the producer. I was the writer. So and I didn't really know much into script writing, so I didn't really know much into filmmaking. I guess I chose somebody or something. Or I just stand in as the production manager. I didn't even know if there's any career as production manager. When they just call, they need this thing. I'll be the one there. I have to go run. I stressed myself in that location. It was heavy. Each time I remember that location, I I shake my head because my mentor too was the director. I remember after passing through that location, he said he felt sick. The stress of the location was too much. As an amateur, I didn't know. I stressed myself, moved around. Oh, we want to buy candle. At times I will have to send some people, but to me, I'm the one that know the location. I'm the one that know the location we are using. I'm the one that I have to speak with the welfare department. I'm the one that I have to speak with the director. I'm the one that I have to speak with the cast. I similarly took the role of the production manager. I didn't know it was actually the role of the production manager. Yet I'm the producer of the movie, and as a student, 300 level, I didn't know anything. I was just the drama coordinator of my of the joint campus fellowship then. So it's stress. Production manager is not a child's play. It's not a child's play. It's a very, very essential role. In the little time I've used in filmmaking, I've seen some very, very professional production manager. They makes the work easy for the producer. One of those things I learned too from my mentor was the fact that at a point I knew the stress. While we were coming together, I met him in 2012, and while we were coming together, then I go to his locations, and I see how he runs things. I see how the stress, the burden and all is. And in the process of time, he discovered this production manager, and at times you see him go and sleep on set and he go and rest. And there's a change. And he told me, he's the production manager. He has taken his burden. That's just the work of the production manager. It is then when I discovered that then I have to step down the stress I have to in production and give the work to the production manager. You are the one who you can't break down. Don't worry. You have all the strength and capacity. Just be doing the work. So a production manager is an agile person, very, very agile. Is a person that is strong enough to handle the production and see to the success of the production. So a production manager, let me just talk about the work of the production manager in addition to what Mr. Adeloja said. We talk about budgeting. Production manager should also know about the budget, should also know about the budget of the whole production, should know about his own is not to get fun. His own is employed. Is employed into seeing that the work is done. So the production manager is to see that he manages the money you prepare for the budget. Okay, if the budget of your movie is 500,000 and you give the production manager 500,000, you should be able to manage it and see to it that the 500,000 is adequate for what he has done. Or if you see that the amount the producer gives or gave him was just a little bit lower than the budget, and you should be able to find a way to see that it is achievable, and not to put some people on debt. We should be able to see that he achieved based on the budget that is being provided by the executive producer, by the fund that is being provided by the executive producer and the producer. So the fund that is provided majorly from the producer, this is because the producer relates well with the production manager. I'm saying the production manager now, I'm infusing line production line producer with the normal production manager. So that is, I'm just using a same term. I'm already fusing the two together, so I'm making it much more clear on that note. The fund that is given for the production should be properly managed by the production manager and see to it that every aspect is being touched. A production manager too will work well with the assistant director to look at scene by scene, to look at the scene by scene and note every necessary things that are needed, and you should find a way to get to the necessary quarters to ask about the things that are needed and to confirm if those things are already made available before the production. Because once the production kickstart and some of the essential things that are needed on the set are not there, the production manager still has a blame on that note, because one, he didn't carry them along. There's something called a production sheet, a production schedule. A production manager must be vast enough to make a shooting schedule. There's a production schedule, there's a shooting schedule. Okay, now a production schedule can be personally for him, having the names and numbers and contact of every of the cast and crew, calling them and know the time that each of them are going to be available on set. Okay, this particular time is the time we are coming for shooting. In my production schedule for day 1, day 2, day 3, I know the time we are coming 2 hours before the time. A production a manager should be reaching out to those people that should be at 2 hours before the time, 3 hours before the time, and see that even a day before the time, and see that with reminder, and see that they've not forgotten their roles, and they are rehearsing or they are making proper preparation for that scene, and ask them necessary questions as regards their very soon. So it's essential for the production manager to have a production schedule for his own personally, because that will contain the number. The shooting schedule does not necessarily have to contain the number. In fact, does not need to contain the number. The shooting schedule contains the schedule for shooting for a particular day, a particular time, or a particular location. Now, I'm going to just give a simple display of the shooting schedule. Now you can see on your screen, this is just a simple display what the shooting schedule is. It contains the numbers, the scene, the take, the shot, the summary of the movie, the summary of the scene. You also have the interior, exterior. You know, all those things are very essential in the shooting schedule, because they are important and essential in the shooting schedule, because when it's going to help you have the numbers. From the numbers you have the scene, you have the is it interior, exterior, you have the day, you have the night, you have the summary of the scene, you have the remark of the scenes. And in fact, in some of the shooting schedule, you can have some of the props and costumes needed, special effect on some of your shooting schedule, a location where you are going to use. You know, all those things are essential when you are preparing your shooting schedule, because one is going to give you is going to give you a detailed explanation of what you want to do for that time. So a production manager works with the assistant director and to make that available, and essentially is the work of the production manager to make a shooting schedule. So in the shooting schedule, the shooting schedule is given. The shooting schedule is given to the other crew members to know what they want to shoot, and the cast are being called ahead of time to see that they make themselves available at the time of their shooting. Now, a production manager helps to manage the time in shooting. If necessary preparations are not done before shooting begins, there will be a lot of waste of time, because perhaps a cast might be somewhere or has forgotten, or maybe had a delay. So, and the production manager didn't get across the cast on time, you know, it can delay the production because you have to sit and be waiting for somebody that is still on his journey 3 hours or 2 hours before 2 hours journey, and the person is just coming. It will delay production. Yes, I've seen that happen. The crew member self can decide to, or can tell you that they are coming a day, they are coming this very day, and maybe production manager didn't get along with them and they say okay, they have a delay, they are coming in the next day, you have to wait for them. So a production manager makes necessary preparation for the people and reminds them what they do. You must be versatile enough, strong enough, and be ready to work with people. You must be able to build relationship with people and see to it that production manager should be able to work with the budget you have, should be versatile enough, should be vast, should be strong, should not be somebody that runs away from responsibilities. So a production manager see to it that it calls all the cast, calls all the crew, and makes necessary preparation. Ask them if a location manager has seen the location. Production manager should also go check, supervise the location with the director to check this location. At this location already, are they befitting? Are they ready? Are they ready? So the location manager moves with the director to the, as well as the production manager, to every location to see that every of the locations are essential. A production manager see to it that every of the cast have their script on time, and monitors that, ask them, relate to them to see that they are reading their script at the adequate time and making necessary preparation. A production manager tells them the time that they are going to come on set, tell them the time that they might likely stay, they might likely leave, and tell them, is a location manager should be strong enough to calculate the time frame. Of course, in production, you can't really dictate, you can't really say that okay, this is the very time you are going to use to shoot a scene. But that one depends on some other factors like the ability for the cast to know their lines very well, the technical ability as well, the DOP, the sound, all those ones are also there. So it's essential for the production manager to see to it that every of those things are touched. So when every of those things are touched, we are always good to go. The production manager should be strong enough. The production manager should have human relationship.